Hi Soul Family, welcome to my channel where we talk about all things to heal, grow, and evolve. I'm started a new series uncovering the Ode. In this story, I'm going to cover the Edo traditions, Edo Cosmology, the origins, the myth, and the folklore that they use to describe the creation of our earth here. So it all started with the supreme god, Osanobwa, the divine being, the creator of all humans. And so Osanobwa asked his 4 sons to come down here on earth to populate it. Before they came down here on earth, he allowed them to pick a gift to take down with them. So the oldest son chose wealth. The next son chose wisdom. The 3rd son chose mysticism, so it's dealing with spirituality and dealing with energy. And before the 4th son, the youngest, was about to make his choice, the token, which is a bird, came to him and pleaded for him to take the snail's shell. He was very confused as to why, but he listened nonetheless, and he asked Osanobwa for the snail's shell. The other 3 sons were laughing at him, making a mockery of him, calling him stupid, all these names. But Osanobwa said that was a very wise choice of him. So on their way to Earth, as it came from the other side, the spiritual world, also known as heaven, they came here on a boat. And on their way here, they discovered the entire Earth was covered with water on all sides. And then a tree stood on top of the water. This tree is called the Ikimwin tree. This is called the tree of life, the first tree, and it represents life on earth because without trees producing oxygen, no humans will be able to live on here. And then standing on top of that giant tree, the tree of life, was that same bird, the token that went to the youngest son and asked him to pick the snail shell. This bird is called Onwonwon. This is known as the bird of creation. As they're on their boat facing the waters that's surrounding the earth, the youngest son poured the sand all over the water that was inside the snail shell. And as he was pouring the sand onto the water, an explosion immersed. And then water rose up from the bottom and filled the space surrounding them, creating land. And then with that explosion, the 4 elements was created. Amen, which is water. Aziza, which is air. Orhen, which is fire. And Oto, which is known as sand, land, or earth. Only the youngest son was able to physically step foot on the 3D realm because he was the only one who chose a item that had materialistic properties, which allowed him to have a physical body and roam the earth. So the remaining 3 sons were still in spirit form, and then they were known as deities. But the youngest son still wanted to stay with his brothers and have a connection with them. And so the oldest son chose to live within the waters, and the other 2 sons chose to put their spirits in different parts of the land to maintain their wealth, their wisdom, and spiritual fulfillment. Okay, so this youngest son, who is the one that remained on the physical realm, he calls himself the Edo, which means the first human on earth. And then he calls the world that they landed on Akbon, which is the physical earth in the 3D realm. So Edo was very excited for his new adventure. He was exploring the land, exploring the adventures, exploring different insects and different birds, different types of wildlife that was within that realm, within that world. Just exploring different places within that land and the beauty that it had within it. Edo was very excited, very happy, very blessed for having this gift of life. Edo was climbing on top of a tree trunk, swinging through trees, and eventually he got tired and he wanted to take a nap. So this is when Osanobwa, the supreme being, came down to check on his son and to check on the earth, ensuring that the sun and moon was within alignment, to ensure day and night was in alignment, and ensure the seasons were also in alignment. And this is where the duality takes place on our earth. When Edo woke up from his nap, he saw a huge soothing illumination in the sky, and he was completely surrounded by darkness. And to me, I think this darkness represents the cosmos, the ethers, the universe that is all within and connected to Osanobwa, because the illumination didn't come until Osanobwa came down with his presence. And then it is said when Osanobwa comes down on earth, he has a set of chains that connects him to the ethers, the heavens. So when Edo saw this beautiful, soothing illumination of darkness, he knew who it was. And he got on his knees and he thanked him for this amazing and blessing of life that he gotten. So Osanobwa asked Edo how he was enjoying his gift, and Edo was very excited and ecstatic. He loved it. and he felt he was blessed from this amazing gift of life. And then he was happy. And then Edo said that, but I am hungry. I have not eaten since I've arrived here. What do I do for food? Stretch out your hand to the skies above your head. The sky will respond by coming close to your hand. Pluck whatever you need from the sky, but do not pluck more than you can eat to satisfy your hunger at any time though. That's a very important thing to take note of. And Edo understand, and he said, okay, I won't. He reached up his hand above his head towards the sky, and he was able to receive. So that's the abundance that is on our earth. That is the abundance, the infinite amount, the infinite supplies, the infinite amount of resources, the infinite amount of energy that is within this world and within the cosmos. And then Edo also said that he wanted a companion because he feels very lonely, because his other three brothers were spirits and he can no longer relate to them because he is the only one here in the physical world. Then Osanobua responded, you are not just flesh and bone, you are also part spirit. You can always connect with them at any time. Your spirit brothers are not that far away. The experience that you would need, your brothers could teach you that experience through wisdom and how you can combine your physical and spiritual powers to cultivate wealth and spiritual fulfillment, at which the gifts which the other two brothers inherited. These are how you can connect with them and tap into your abilities. The oldest son who decided to live within the waters. This deity is known as Olokun. But Osanobua gave the oldest son the power to control the waters. So Olokun represents good health, wealth, prosperity, and then happiness. And the other two sons who are still in spirit allow them to use their power, use their magical powers to balance out the negative and positive aspects of life. And then Osanobua told Edo to take part of the sand with his two palms, raise it above his hand, and hold it close to him. And Edo did so. And then he created a female companion for him. Osanobua called forth a female companion. And this female companion is called Etekhohi, which means female. Osanobua said, she is Etekhohi, a woman. And then he said to Edo, you are Itebite, which is man. In marriage, you would multiply to ensure there is no shortage of hands in the management of Earth resources. And so they did so. And then Edo asked, what if there's other problems here on Earth? How can we get in contact with you? What do we do to connect back to you? Osanobua responded, you can come see me at any time through your individual self, your Ehi, which is your higher self. Because a double permanent is always in heaven, connecting to you. And then he said, climb up the Olubode hill, and then at the top your Ehi in heaven will bring me to you. All right, so time has passed. It's been over 500 to 1,000 years. Generations have formed, babies have been multiplied, and they're enjoying their life here on Earth. Edo was now known as Papa Edo because he was the first ancestor here on Earth. Everything was going well, everything was going great until one day, a pregnant lady, her name was Imose, she took too much food than she needed from the skies. And because of that greed, it caused a lot of suffering, a lot of turmoil, and a lot of changes on the land. All of a sudden there was an explosion, and the skies that are once being able to reach just above your head was no longer able to be reached beyond human reach. Due to Imose's greed, the age of innocence was over. It became very difficult to interact with Osanobua because people were no longer able to walk in and out of heaven at will. So this spirit of greed created two new spirits on Earth. And these two spirits represent obstacles you must overcome in order for you to return back to the divine. These two spirits are called Idodo and Esun. Idodo was the spirit police to ensure the divine and the natural orders are in place, to make sure all the laws were obeyed. The second spirit was Esun. This was known as the spirit or angel. And then this spirit took the pleas from humans that were genuine at heart, and then they take them to Osanobua. And then over time, life on Earth became very difficult. It became a place of suffering and pain, all just because of one greediness act. Food shortages came, environmental changes came, it became droughts, the forest was depleted, unpredictable season arose, and just many changes in their lives. Even the soil began to die because the farmers were overusing it to create new sources of food. And from the soil dying, this created illness, this created further pain and death. And then from this energy created two new spirits, which was very critical for human survival. These two spirits was Ubu and Ogi Ubu. Ubu was the harbinger of death, Ogi-Uwu is known as the spirit of death. Ogi-Uwu represents mourning, represents evil omens, and represents diseases. Ogi-Uwu did not play around. You better come correct when Ogi-Uwu was in the building, because this spirit was literally sending people to their deaths left and right. If you disobeyed Osanobwa, if you're not following the laws of the order, you're sent to your death. And then it just became a land of chaos and destruction, because these two spirits were literally destroying humans, destroying the human life and killing these people off. And so to make a change, the people came to Idodo and Esun, and they did their absolute best to convince Idodo to bring justice onto the people, to bring justice onto Uwu and Ogi-Uwu for killing these people off. And they wanted to convince Esun to have their pleas, their genuine pleas from the heart, to be reached to Osanobwa. But in order for this to be done, they had to connect back to their individual spirit, their self, their Ehi. They had to connect back to their own souls, which is their higher selves. So this, in return, was returning everything back to self. This was a story of Edo Cosmology and the origin and creation of humans on Earth. And this is a very interesting story to me because it comes with a lot of symbolism, comes with a lot of messages within itself, about the spirits, about emotions, about cause and effect, about consequences. And to me, this story talks about how human thought is the root and cause of all evil on this world. There is no true evil, there is no hell, because hell here is already on Earth. The hell was created here on Earth due to human thought, their constructs, because of their systems they placed here, and their constructs created by humans and their human thoughts. Even like demons, even the devils, these are spirits. And spirit is also known as your mind and your subconscious mind. And these spirits have personalities, have characteristics, and they take on form of other people. So when someone has a spirit of jealousy, the spirit of anger, that is a personality that took on form within a person through their thoughts. So greed is a human thought, and that spirit of greed took over Imose in the story, which caused a lot of turmoil and suffering and ended the age of innocence in the story. Another thing that I noticed within the story is duality. Duality is everywhere in the story. Cause and effect, night and day, sun and moon, spirit and physical, good, bad. Duality is all around us, and this story tells me you have to be able to master both, and there has to be a balance between one and the other. When it comes to the masculine and the feminine, there has to be balance between the two. Once you've gained balance between them, that's how you become the master, because you've mastered both the physical and you've mastered both the spiritual realms. In order for you to become one with divine again, in order for you to return back to the heavens, the true heavens, you have to be able to master both of these elements. Letting go of humanity, letting go of these human thoughts, these mundane thoughts, these low vibrational spirits, which is holding you back from evolution and ascending. And this is all due to these unhealthy attachments we have here on Earth. So it has a lot to do with duality, becoming one with self, and the process of doing that is you to let go, to release attachment, to release all these spirits of low vibration, spirits of greed, anger, fear. It comes full circle. So that's the story that I've gotten. That's my own take on it, my own explanation. Let me know what you guys think of this story. If there's any other stories you want me to cover, let me know down in the comments. I'm very excited to share more stories and more things that I've discovered doing my research, and just on this journey of discovering my roots, discovering my traditions of the Edo and what they did, what their life was like, and how their experience was as ancestors, and the knowledge that they are passing down to me. All right, so that's all I have for today. I will see you next time in the future. Bye, y'all. Love you.